astronauts, it's me, Brandy, and welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. So we are back with another pick a card, and this week's pick a card was actually suggested by one of you astronauts, Sunra Beauty, and Sunra Beauty wanted to know what kind of sugar daddy will I get. So I decided to modify this question a bit because a lot of you guys are 25 plus and are looking for more long-term partnerships. I know this because all the spousal and the marriage ones get the most views. So instead of what kind of sugar daddy will I get, I decided to ask what kind of rich spouse or rich partner will I get. But if you guys want to listen to it as sugar daddy, then feel free to swap out the word, spouse or partner for sugar daddy. Also, I am super excited to introduce you guys to the merch that I have been working on. Yes, I know I'm thinking like a billion steps ahead. I don't even have 10,000 subscribers yet, but I did need some sort of financial support since I'm not doing readings anymore, and it'd be great if you guys could show your support in this way. So if you follow me on Instagram at Astro_Tarot Research, then you've already seen like a little preview of this merch, but this is the sweatshirt that I have, one of them. And you can see I have the little astronaut on the shirt. I have the rocket ship going on here just to represent the Astro-Tarot researchness. So I'm wearing a size large, but I am a size medium normally. So I wanted something to be a little bit more oversized on me. So if you like yours oversized, then I would suggest you guys size up. I hope if you really like the shirt or one of the other merch items that you will feel free to buy it. It would mean a lot to me to have your support astronauts, but obviously no pressure here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and hit the bell, and we are going to get into these piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. So sit back, relax, and choose. If you've chosen pile number 1, let's get started on your reading. We have the 7 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Queen of Swords. And we have Jupiter Abundance. Wow, okay, your pile's very literal, pile number 1. So let's talk about your rich future partner, spouse, whoever, or sugar daddy, however you want to use that, right? So this person is very, very thoughtful with their money, meaning there's somebody who definitely likes to take their time before they make an investment or a decision, and that's not only with their money but also with the people they spend time with. So this is not a person who's going to want to rush into a relationship with you, so they're going to be cautious in that regard. Especially when we get the 7 of Pentacles here, this is somebody who's, it's not really like they're frugal or anything. They don't have a problem with spending like, large amounts of money. It's just that they really have to think about what it is that they're placing their, value into, okay? And so that's going to be like with your relationship. So if you're just kind of looking for a rich spouse to just kind of spend money willy-nilly, that's not going to be this person. Although, because we have the Wheel of Fortune here, there will be like moments where it's like they're just gonna make it rain, but other moments where they're gonna be more frugal because the Wheel of Fortune goes like up and down. Also with the Wheel of Fortune, because it's also represented by Jupiter, and then we have Jupiter here, abundance. Normally when I have done my studies on basically wealth and astrology, Jupiter is not like the most important planet when it comes to wealth and finance. I know a lot of people will say that, but obviously if you've seen my astrology study, no, Jupiter really didn't have the most impact. In fact, we have planets like Mars and the moon and stuff like that making bigger decisions on whether somebody would be rich or abundant. What this really sort of means is a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of knowing how to invest and spend their money. So it's just more like they have the information to keep the growth going, okay, with abundance here. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be the richest person in the world, though I do believe it was like Sun in Punavarsu or Moon in Punavarsu, which is a Jupiter ruled nakshatra, that did really well among billionaires. So it is possible that they can make a lot of money, but for the most part, it had to do with wealth of knowledge and being highly ambitious, which makes sense if we have this Queen of Wands energy. So the type of rich husband you'll get is obviously somebody very, very hardworking, but they don't forget to take care of themselves, especially when I get Queen energy. Queen energy to me is always somebody who usually takes care of their emotional, or I guess in this case, they're taking care of their mental health as well as their probably physical, or making sure they have a steady amount of like responsibilities. Wands can go either way, but they're not going to overwhelm themselves with the responsibilities. This person is not like a workaholic. So if you're worried you have a rich husband who's like, or wife who's like a workaholic, no, that's not the case. This is somebody who, you know, has a good balance of all that, but they're also very, very intelligent. If we look at what's not here, we don't see a lot of water energy. So you're not going to get this luxurious spouse who is into, I guess, more emotional comforting. That's not really their forte. You know, everyone has their thing that they're good at, but this is not them. They're not here to sort of be the person who's like that spouse who listens to you and you tell all your problems to, or something like that, who has that more like therapist vibe to them. This is not them at all, okay? They're obviously going to care and they're probably going to listen, but that's not their strong suit. What they're really here to do is, you know, they know how to run a business, they know how to take on responsibilities, they're smart with their money, they're very practical about the life that they want to live. They're not super extravagant and over the top, though they do have moments at times, but they're not like, I'm here to be your therapist and listen to all your problems. I mean, they're probably going to do it, but that's not like, I'm trying to say, that's not their strong suit, okay? Not everyone has their strong suit, right? There also is going to be someone who's probably not going to really want to talk about their own feelings that much, just given all of this going on here, especially with the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is one of the only queens that is facing to the left, like you just see the side of her face. I think there's another queen that does that, but the Queen of Swords in particular, you don't see her whole face, and because of that, she's got this air of mystery to her, meaning she's not going to be one to open up easily with. So if you're looking for someone who's going to be very open and share all their vulnerabilities and etc. with, that's not going to be your rich spouse, husband, wife, or sugar daddy. They're not here to sort of coddle you and open up and have this like these deep, intimate, vulnerable discussions. This is more somebody who's here to elevate your ambitions, someone who is there to engage into intellectual conversations, somebody who's going to be a lot of fun with the Queen of Wands here, very spontaneous, somebody who's going to be, you know, probably cracking a lot of jokes with Jupiterian energy. I was just like looking up some Jupiterian people who are just, one thing I have seen is they have this characteristics when they can be very, very like, it's like playful, but like in a corny sort of way, like dad humor or something like that, especially with guys. With women, not so much. With women, there's a different vibe. It's more like they're more sarcastic, I guess. I guess both guys and women are sarcastic, but the women, it kind of shows more. So that would be their sort of like personality, but it's not like mean sarcastic, okay? There's nothing like cruel or anything going on here. So definitely somebody who is going to be a little bit more hard to read, someone who's going to be more calculated in the decisions that they make. Obviously, there's somebody who's going to want to give, though I wouldn't say that their love language is to receive or give gifts in any way. They're more like a quality time, compliment sort of person. They're definitely someone who is more than willing to change, especially just anything. They're just open to new experiences, new ideas. This is somebody who is willing to, like, if you meet them and they're not that like extravagant with their money, and they're like more saving things like they have here with this Seven of Pentacles, and they're trying to figure out what to do, chances are you could probably like convince them to spend like a lot of money and like upgrade their lifestyle and be more ambitious. They don't have an issue with striving for more, okay? But they just like taking their time doing so. So that is what I have for you, pile number one. Your rich, spouse, husband, partner, wife, sugar daddy is going to ultimately not have an issue with being generous, but they're not going to give you everything you want. They're just more of a person who's going to be ambitious. They're smart. They're more guarded than I guess than some people may be. They're not going to be superly overly like very open and vulnerable with you, and they're definitely going to be somebody who has this wealth of knowledge on finances, how to make money, and be very good at investing as well. Okay, so that is what I have, and I'm going to end this. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me at Astro_Tarot Research, and don't forget to hit that bell and get notified. Thank you. Ka-ching! If you've chosen pile number two, let's get started on your reading. We have the Two of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the High Priestess, and Capricorn. I use. Make sure the sound is looking right. Okay, let's jump into this. So this is very, very interesting that we have two twos going on here. So whenever we get two twos, it's about decision making and coming to a point where you're trying to juggle a lot of things. It's like the planning stages of something where you're trying to get things just right. Okay, so what that lets me know is that you're, I guess, future spouse, sugar daddy, partner, when it comes to just who they are, especially when it comes to their finances, they may have some trouble when it comes to making decisions and making smart decisions. This is the type of person who's going to second guess themselves, but this can also pertain to the fact that they can just have more than one interest or just several ventures, which is kind of normal for people who make a lot of I guess money. But the thing is with the two is like they get stuck on the planning phases, and there's not enough like fire. There's not enough like initiative to like, let's do this, let's get this started. And you can even see there's a lack of fire here. So this person is it's funny, like the first pile, they used to think their future kind of rich spouse or something like that spent a lot of time thinking about planning about moving forward to the next move, but they also had a lot of money in the bank. This person doesn't seem to have like a huge amount of wealth, or as much as they could have if they were to just be more active and take more initiative. And it's funny, I didn't even realize we got the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is two as well. So I think this person has issues, questioning their own intuitiveness. So it's like they don't truly believe in themselves. They spend a lot of time doubting themselves, or doubting just how successful things would be, and seeing what could go wrong or what might go right or whatever. They just look at things from so many different angles that they forget that they actually have to take a leap. So that's the thing about your future sort of like partner, but rich partner. But they do have some money, obviously. That's why we have this reading. It's called your rich partner spouse, right? But it's just like they may go through some periods where they lose that, especially since we have these twos together, and it's kind of like they're the sword and pentacle energy is like, how do I say, they're irritating each other because swords and pentacles don't get along. So it's like saying they can't really keep up with all these financial ventures. It's possible that they just don't have a strong financial knowledge, and so they're making a lot of poor decisions. So it's more than likely that they go through these periods where they have money, they don't have money, they have money, they don't have money, with Capricorn I was just doing this study into Shravana, and it's a placement where a lot of people, at least in Vedic astrology, if we read this as Vedic, Capricorn, Shravana would fall into that. And a lot of people with this placement will take these major risks, and you can often see them even in real life or in just movies like gambling or something, or just rolling the dice and taking a chance. I kind of feel like with this person, whenever they have rolled the dice or taken a chance in the past, it hasn't always worked out, and it's been very detrimental towards them. And so that's why they're hesitating to make these decisions, because they don't want to obviously make the wrong one, because it's just been so it's just been a very devastating place that it's put them in, especially with the Knight of Swords here. Sometimes I get that to represent, it's normally not super negative, but at the same time, because it's next to this energy where this person's like, I don't want to make a decision, it's more than likely they're thinking too much. They're thinking way too hard about things, and it doesn't really matter that much. If they had just taken more risk, they would have more. However, it does say that this person is more likely will have more status than they will even like money. So it's like more saying more people will sort of know them. Their reputation precedes them, so people know about them before they even meet them or talk to them. So this is the type of person that people just have heard about, or in their community or circle, or even their workplace. So a lot of people will just know who they are. Ultimately, this person is more a private person. I was going to say reclusive, but they're not like a recluse. They're just like, they want to keep to themselves. Especially, this is a card that buries their head in the sand, and this is a card that's about, having that quiet time away. The Knight of Swords can be very sociable though, but for the most part, this person likes that time to themselves to sit and reflect. I think a lot of the times they're taking in too many outside opinions, because this Knight of Swords is next to Capricorn, which is like the highest point of the chart, which is like, public spotlight. So I think they get a lot of different opinions from different people, and that can be confusing towards them. They're just like, I don't really know what decision to make. So that's another reason that you have that with this person. But when it comes to spending, this person is definitely a little bit more impulsive with their spending, and sometimes they may make some decisions that just don't make any sense in the long run. Whether that is spending money on themselves, spending money on you, that's the type of person they generally are. Especially knights. Knights usually don't hold on to money that long, so it's like money's just like slipping through their fingers, but they do have a stable job or career or entrepreneurship going on there. Whatever it is that they are into, more than likely they work for someone else, because the Knight is here, and knights usually work under people. So that's the thing about that. The High Priestess would indicate this person is more spiritual, and they look for their spirituality to guide them and help them make decisions, especially when it comes towards their career and their finances and even their love life. Once again, we don't have a huge amount of water energy as well, or fire energy. So this person is just not if you're looking for somebody who's like super physically active or something like that, you're like, oh, I want a rich spouse who worked out and who's super into their taking care of their appearance or whatever. I'm not saying this person's a slob, but I'm saying that this person's really not into like physical fitness like that. This person's more than likely, because of the lack of fire going on here, they're not super assertive either. So if you're looking for someone who has a more traditionally, is it like yang? I think yang's the more assertive energy, right? So if you're looking for someone who has traditionally more yang energy, then that's not what you're going to get here. Or I guess in the spiritual community, a lot of people will say masculine energy, but I feel like sometimes the terms masculine and feminine energy can be a little bit like, it just gets confusing sometimes and people can read it wrong. But So I'll just say this person doesn't have a lot of yang energy. They have more yin energy. So it's just like they're a little bit more passive, and they're more likely to wait for you to come towards them, for you to talk to them. So even if they make like the first move when meeting you, for the most part, they do want you to really kind of like, I don't know about chase them, but like be the more assertive person to like plan dates and etc. like that. That's just this person's vibe. It's not like they're not interested. It's just who they are. Okay. But for the most part, you can see that this person can be a little bit awkward in conversations. That's probably why they want you to do most of the leading, because they're a little bit strange sometimes. I usually get the Knight of Swords to mean somebody who talks too much or somebody who talks too little. But because we have this here next to the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Swords, as well as the High Priestess, it's more likely this person doesn't talk that much. Like they're very short sentences, to the point, and that's that. So it can just be a little bit awkward. You may want them to expand on a few things. So that's why it's more likely you're going to end up being like, okay, I'm going to have to take the lead to show this person the way. But yeah, overall, you have somebody who is very future oriented. That's the whole point with this Capricorn energy. It's hard for them not to think ahead, but it's overall, when it comes to thinking ahead, they can doubt themselves too much, and that can cause them to make some poor decisions. But one thing that seems to be clear is this person doesn't have an issue with persevering, especially when we have Capricorn energy here. They're like, I'm not really giving up. Even if I have some pitfalls, I'm going to keep going. And with the Knight of Swords here, lets me know that they have either a youthful energy or they're just young. Like maybe you just have a younger partner, or you're just a partner who's just young. But that's what I have for you guys, pile number 2. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me at Astro_Tarot Research and hit the bell so you can be notified of the next reading. Au revoir. If you've chosen pile number 3, let's see if you'll be swiping with a black card in your future. We have the Chariot, the Hermit, the Lovers, so many major arcana, the Seven of Cups, and Taurus I have. Okay. Pull this up so you guys can see it. So, pretty interesting. So many major arcana. So that lets me know this person just has a very big personality, even if they don't show it a lot. With the Hermit here, it lets me know obviously this person's they like to sit and think and reminisce on what it is that exactly that they're trying to achieve. With the Chariot, we have somebody who is highly resilient, super ambitious, incredibly so. And the Lovers here, more than likely they have their own business. You can sort of read this as like Cancer, Virgo, Gemini. So it's interesting that with the Hermit here, we have this card where somebody's sort of reclusive and they're away from the world. But with the Lovers card here, it shows that there's also a lot of chatter going on, because this is, Lovers represents, you know, your belief versus somebody else's belief system. So they have to be talking to somebody. More than likely, it's just saying that they like to keep a smaller, more intimate group. I think that's probably what the cards are signaling to me, especially since we have another 2 here and another, you know, 2 2s going on here. So it's like saying they probably just have a small group of friends. They don't really like to have a whole bunch of friends. Maybe just 1 or 2 good friends going on here. So that lets me know something about this person. It also just says that they're very careful with who they trust. And it also lets me know that however they make their money doing something they love. Because we have the Lovers and then we have Taurus I have. And Taurus is associated with the 2nd house of savings. And it could also be like how you're making your money. Though that's mainly 11th house. But 2nd house will give you some indicators of how your money is coming in. So they're making money doing something that they love. And with the 7 of Cups here, it's like saying they have these a whole lot of creativity going on. So I don't know if this person's like an artist or if this person just has a creative mind, but whatever it is, they're using their creativity in their work to make money. With the Chariot here, lets me know there's been a long you know, treacherous path to get to where they are, and they didn't have a lot of support along the way. They have some now, but at the time that was not the case at all. They had to rely on their inner guidance, and it has helped them. This person is very, very close with their family, and more than likely, their family, I'm not going to say their family has money, but their family has influenced their financial decisions, okay? I can sort of look at this as Mercury in Taurus. So it's kind of like their family has given them some advice on their finances, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're like getting money from their family or their family's rich. It just means like they like talking about money, as well as their family will have given them some advice on, you know, what to go into, how to make money, and etc. Maybe they've just like bounced ideas off of family members, which can happen, you know. They just felt like the need to do that, or people who are family like, okay, so that could just be like friends. Another thing with this person, obviously this is a very, I don't know, it's like they have a good balance of being social and not super social, because we have the Lovers and the Hermit here. But at the same time, both of those are mercurial energy. And like I said, I can read this as having Mercury in the 2nd house. And when you have that, that's like saying somebody is very talkative, okay? So they have a lot of, they want to communicate, and they want to talk about making money. They want to talk about family. They want to talk about finances. They want to talk about things that they value. They want to talk about their passions. They want to talk about their political beliefs and opinions. So you have somebody who's more than likely can be very opinionated at with this energy going on here. And then I can treat this as like this being then the moon in Virgo, which can make somebody very calculated and ambitious and competitive. So this person has no issue with being competitive in any sense of the word. And this can also be somebody who, obviously this is the type of person who's more likely going to approach you, just because they don't really have I'm not saying that their confidence doesn't fluctuate, because normally when you have Mercury in the 2nd house, it does have to do with maybe sort of analyzing exactly what, like getting confidence from your skill set. Okay, so when you do that, if you aren't doing well at a project, or if you aren't able to do something that you want to do, or if you aren't able to complete an idea in a way that is coming across the way you want it to come across, then that can like destroy your self-esteem here. So I'm not saying that they're the most confident person in the world, but overall they are a confident person. Okay, so in general they are. It's just that when they don't do well in a project, it may devastate them. So it just reminds me, I'm rewatching Girlfriends, or I guess I didn't watch it as much as a kid. Like, I mean, I was a kid, but there's this one scene where Joan is, several episodes where Joan is dating the actor. And remember how he did this movie, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you haven't, the actor did a movie, and the movie got bad reviews, and he was in bed like for weeks, or just being very, you know, sad and depressed, and all because of his project didn't do well. His confidence suffered, and it was only when he started hearing what other people say nice things about him and his work and him as an actor that he felt good about himself. So you're gonna have somebody like that, where they can be very influenced by the fact that people may reject their work, and that can hurt their confidence. So I hope that made sense. Overall, this person, they look out for the people that they love, and they really want to start a family. So this is somebody who's very, very serious. As well as whenever we get the 7 of Cups, we know that this person is very sought after. Let's be honest here. So it's like saying they're not someone who hides their wealth. I mean, look at the Chariot here. They're just like strolling down the street. It reminds me of like Aladdin when we had that song Prince Ali, and he's like strolling through the palace with the elephants and all the dancing people. So people know this person has money without a doubt. So that's gonna make things, I don't know, maybe hard or fun for you. I don't know, whatever you're into. But people know, they're very well aware, and this person, it's not like they need to say it, but they're the way they present themselves is going to say it. So you don't have anyone who's shy about it. But weirdly enough, with the Hermit card here, let's be honest, this is a very frugal person. So even though everyone knows they got some coin, when we have the Hermit here, they're all like, you see how the way the Hermit's like dressed, all poverty and whatever, like, it could be saying that they dress that way, but I doubt it. The Chariot's like flashy sometimes, but it's just saying that this person is frugal with their money, so they're not looking to spend a whole bunch of money. This is a very, I guess, I wouldn't say cheap, but they're not wilding out like some of the other piles when it comes to their expenses. So if you're looking for like a sugar daddy who's like really like, or a partner or a spouse who's really like, you know, dropping, making it rain and whatever, this is not the type of person. They're just very smart when it comes to their money. They're not gonna, if something's like, 20 grand for a purse, they're like, I'm not spending money on 20 grand for a purse. I'm not getting no Birkin or something like that. Or I'm not getting a Birkin for you. That to them, it's just going to seem outlandish and ridiculous. They're looking for something that's going to build long term, especially with Taurus I have. They're more likely looking out for their future family members, something like the Rockefellers, where their family just has money, like they're just for generations. That's the way this person's thinking. And so because of that, they're not going to be, spending their money all crazy. One thing I will say is this person's very, very creative. They'll look for a way to get what they want without having to spend and drop money like that. So maybe they see something that they like and it's super expensive. Instead of buying it, they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to make it myself or get someone else to make it for me for a cheaper price. So they're always looking for that deal for them. Okay, so they're gonna love like budget shopping and everything like that, but you guys really won't have to worry about money like that. If you're reading this in terms of like looking for a sugar daddy, then this is saying that this sugar daddy is more than likely going to keep it to a minimum, and they're probably just going to want to have conversation just because they know they're not like balling like that. So if you're reading it in that perspective, that's what's going on. But if you're looking for something long term, this is just saying that this person is more likely to spend money on their children's future rather than something like I said, a Birkin bag or something like that. But that is what I have for you, pile number 3. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell. One thing I do want to say, this person's very intelligent as well, and they're very emotionally in tune, especially with the Chariot here, and they have a very high sense of morality. So especially, I just want to let you know that they're definitely going to have, you guys are going to have more in common when it comes to how you think, and your overall, I guess, sort of like temperament. I guess how you think does affect your temperament. So yeah, you guys will have a similar temperament. All right, now let me end the reading. So thanks for letting me read for you guys. Au revoir. If you've chosen pile number 4, let's get started on your reading. We have the Moon, the 6 of Cups, the Devil, the 2 of Pentacles, and the 4th house. I knew we weren't going to leave this reading without somebody doing something or having some sort of, I don't even know how to explain it. All right. So I already have 2 interpretations, and you guys know how I am. Whenever we got 2 interpretations, there's a lot going on. This is the I have a lot going on pile. Okay? So first off, what kind of sort of rich partner, spouse, wife, whatever, sugar daddy, this is basically saying this is somebody who's probably not the most secure person. because we have the Devil card here. And whenever you have the Devil card here, there's obviously some attachment injuries. And when you have attachment injuries, then you often will seek to sometimes empower yourself, or in a way that's not healthy, or to, what's the word I'm looking for? Mitigate those feelings of being disempowered or sad or whatever with, you know, material gains, you know, maybe drugs, maybe alcohol, whatever. Okay, so somebody who is like filtering past traumas through some sort of unhealthy means. Okay, so that's the type of person this person is. It's not necessarily like they're an evil person. It just they're a person with problems. They're a person with some issues, which, you know, who isn't, right? So with the Moon card here, though, it also lets me know that this person can be very sort of moody, but it's also, this person can be very intuitive. And not only that, but we have the Moon card and the Devil. All right, well, I got to give my interpretations. So with the Moon card and the Devil, on one hand, this is representing somebody who's probably a little bad, right? They're probably making their money in some sort of illegal way, some sort of shady way, some sort of way that's either manipulative or just using people, or just a very unhealthy way. Or whether, I don't know, I can't even name all the different ways you could be making money in a negative manner, but it's one of the possibilities. Or it's saying that they're just making their money in a way that is involved in an industry that you can't just like openly talk about or discuss, what could be like adult films or something like that, where maybe they own like an adult film company. So that's not something you're probably just going to be talking about in the middle of day, you know, in a park, right? So so it's just saying that they're making their money in a means where it's either going to be not, you know, not suitable for work, or it's going to be illegal. Second interpretation is, it's saying that this person is somebody who more than likely is somebody who may use money to sort of like control people, which is just obviously not a good thing. But when we have the Devil card here, we are dealing with sort of like power and control, especially if somebody is very insecure. And when we have this Two of Pentacles here, we already know this person's insecure, because their Two of Pentacles is representative of like your self-esteem fluctuating in a way. So that's the thing. So that's another interpretation. And I hope this doesn't sound horrible, like this is just the most evil person in the world, you know, your rich spouse is. It's more likely they just have a lot of issues, especially with the Moon card here, because the Moon deals with your mind, you know, the psychological issues. And this could just mean this person has a great deal of negative thoughts, or they have some issues controlling obsessive thoughts. So you can just have somebody who's just like a very obsessive like person, or a person who can be prone to addictiveness, and that's not necessarily, you know, their fault. That could just be related to their childhood, which is why we have the Six of Cups here. So like I said, the psychological burdens kind of run a little bit deep. More than likely this person is going to need to seek some therapy. But what happens here is saying that you're going to have a partner who, in the worst case scenario, they try to use money to control you. Hopefully you have your own money, so it's not really a big deal. In the best case scenario, what it's saying is this person has a job which they can't like openly just talk about with anyone, or it could be like a very awkward conversation. Or it's like saying, on the other hand, and the third interpretation would be they make their money in a normal sort of way, but it's like they use money to cover up their own insecurities. Okay, so you know how people just like will buy super fancy cars or expensive jewelry or stuff to make themselves look good, so people will pay attention to them and stuff like that. So that's another thing that they can possibly do. Another thing I want to say is when it comes to, gosh, I have so many freaking thoughts with this reading. This is having to do with this person's demeanor, which I think a lot of people are obviously going to be a little bit more intimidated by. I mean, just think of the setting with the moon and the devil card here, and then we have like the fourth house is the darkest part of the chart, represents of midnight. So their whole demeanor can be a little bit unsettling for some people, or just a little bit, you know, sometimes people have like a mean look, so that could just be them, like they just have a mean look to them. When it comes to just who they are. When it comes to their money in general and how they spend it, this person fluctuates with their money as well. I think another pile had that too, but it's like huge fluctuations, especially when it's like the moon card here. And it doesn't matter to them, it seems, because I feel like they're so ambitious. They're just like, whatever, I'm just gonna spend my money. So out of all the piles, I'll say this is the biggest spender that I've seen. They have no issue with spending money on loved ones. And I say that because whenever I get the Six of Cups, I always get it for like family or friends, like taking care of each other or giving someone something or getting a gift or something like that. That's just how the cards choose to communicate that card with me. So I know that this person has no issues with spending like huge amounts of money. So I know the previous pile I chose, sorry if you haven't, you know, listened to it or you wanted to listen to it, it's saying they had a partner who was a little bit more frugal and wouldn't spend like 20, you know, however a Birkin costs. I'm not even sure how much Birkins cost. I used to know, but I was like, whatever, I don't care. It's an ugly bag. But I'm sorry. I mean, no tea, no shade if you really like the bag, or bag if you own the bag. Like, sorry. I just don't find the bag to be attractive. But however much that bag costs, they would just throw down the money and just be like, whatever, I don't care. They're willing to take that gamble and take that risk. And they do that a lot, okay? So this person gets very, very lucky when it comes to their money. That's not to say they don't work hard, but it's saying that they just really, really throw their money around, okay? But at the same time, it doesn't look like a lot of people would even know that they have a lot of money. I only say that because we have the moon in the fourth house. And, it's just like when we have this sort of like juggling playful figure, and then we also have this playful Six of Cups card, can represent like childhood and children and stuff. They just come off they just don't come off like they have a huge amount of money. I think their appearance overall is intimidating, but when you get to know them, they're kind of like playful and silly and fun. So people don't attribute them to having a lot of just luxury and stuff like that. But if you were to go into their home, it looks like they spend most of their financial means towards their place of dwelling. Then you'll quickly notice just how expensive things can get. Another thing I want to say is this person is obviously going to have a lot of issues with letting go, especially with the devil card here. They're not likely to try to like, they're not likely to detach quickly, okay? So they're not likely to just jump out of a relationship and be done. When we have the Two of Pentacles here, more than likely this is saying this person may even do some work overseas, and there could just be some point in time where you guys are separated. And because we have this Two of Pentacles and this fourth house, it could even say they have more than one home. So this person like has money. Like, guys, this is the pile that's like kind of crazy. It just makes me think that they have like some kind of money buried somewhere in some island, just looking at all these piles, okay? In terms of their family, I don't know if they come from family wealth. It could be they come from a family of like, I don't know, criminals or something like that. Or they come from a background that's a little bit more shady. And so maybe that's like motivated them to make, if you're part of the pile that's like they're making money through illegal means, maybe it's their upbringing that's motivated them towards, you know, those sort of illegal means, which is very common towards most people, not most people, towards a lot of criminals or something like that. But it's just saying that that's something that's played a huge role in how they look at money, okay? And this could also just be saying, instead of them having 2 different jobs, 2 different homes, that it's just saying that they're just from a different background, society, ethnicity, something like that. But overall, when it comes to how your, you know, rich partner, sugar daddy is, they don't mind spending huge amounts of money. They may even have money you don't even know about, something in the Cayman Islands or something like that. This is somebody who likes to get what they want, probably has thrown some power moves around in order to get what they want. And if you guys are in a relationship, this person would have a very hard time just, you know, detaching or breaking up. That's like not something they would be a fan of or just like easily like let go or something like that. But that is what I have for you, pile number 4. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to follow me at Astro-Tarot Research, and I will see you next reading. Au revoir. If you've chosen pile number 5, let's get started on your reading. We have the 3 of Pentacles, we have the 7 of Swords, we have the King of Pentacles, we have the Strength card, and we have Saturn return. Okay, so what this lets me know is this person has worked very, very hard for their wealth, especially with Saturn return here. It looks like they went through this huge transformational period. More than likely they've gone from like rags to riches, which, I mean, this is your rich husband. It's not likely they went from riches to rags. Or rich wife or partner or whoever. But most likely this person has just had like this huge transformative experience. We have this King of Pentacles energy, so they are completely comfortable when it comes to their financial setting or their financial worth. And they're also a very confident person, especially when we have Strength and the King of Pentacles. And generally you're dealing with somebody who's going to be very patient. Especially we have Saturn here. Saturn represents time and efforts and resilience. So this person doesn't give up. So they have that sense of patience. They have a strong sense of resilience to them. And they're not worried about being rejected. They're like, whatever, all things in due time. So this person is a very level-headed person. When we have this 3 of Pentacles here, but it's next to the 7 of Swords, what this lets me know is this person does have some issues when it comes to working with other people. They don't like to compromise, especially it makes sense with this King of Pentacles here. They like to be the person who makes the final decisions. And that could probably translate over into relationships. I'm only saying that because why else would the cards bring it up? I doubt it's super important to see how they work unless you're working with your partner, spouse, whoever, sugar daddy, which is not likely to be the case. But on the other hand, what this tells me too, because we also have this King of Swords and this 7 of Swords near each other too as well, it's letting me know that this person isn't the most generous person. It's not like they don't have money. It's like they don't want to spend money. So we have somebody who's a little bit more on the frugal side when it comes to how they, spend their money and everything. Or what it means is they prefer to spend the money on themselves. It's not to say that they're selfish. I mean, it is their money. It's the money that they earned. So they prefer to spend it on just things that they like. And not only that, but when we have the Strength card here and Saturn return, it's more than likely a long-term investment, like a house or a home, something like they prefer to make like big, important buys. They're not one to make like, oh, I need this $1,000 coffee cup. Like, that's not them. They're like, no thank you. Another thing we have here is when it comes to just how this person is, this can also mean, second interpretation, instead of them just being very, very frugal, what this is saying is they're a little bit more humble with how they present themselves. So they're not going to present themselves like they have a lot of money. With the King of Pentacles next to the Seven of Swords, it's like saying they're doing their best to fit into the crowd. They're no longer like this loner here, because this thing is kind of like, you could read it upside down since it's between two pentacles. And this would also be sort of like upside down in a sense. So these all would be reversed in a way. And what that lets me know is this person is just a more casual dressed person and very approachable. Okay, so they just kind of look like the everyday average guy or girl. So they're not going to be super, super lavish when it comes to their appearance or the things that they like. They're pretty simple. They're a very, very, very humble person. So that's the second interpretation of that. When we have the Saturnian energy here, what this lets me know is, it's almost like I could say, because the Strength card is representative of Leo, so it's like Leo and Saturn coming together, or the Sun and Saturn coming together. And when you get this, you get people who, I guess the humility is so strong with this person. They don't really believe in feeling like they're super special, or they're the number one, or they're the best person of this, or the brightest of this, or the greatest at this, or the kindest, smartest. They're like, no, like everyone's equal. They just have a very level-headed mindset. They just feel like everyone's equal, and they feel like themselves, they don't stand out in any particular way. They're just going to work hard towards achieving what they want, and trust and believe, if you have like a Saturn Sun conjunction, you work hard, okay? But another thing this can do is it can bring a struggle with confidence, which it may be the case for them sometimes, but I get the feeling that this person's pretty confident. Like, I just feel like they just don't show it. I don't really get a vibe from the rest of these cards here that this person is a shy type of person, but I do get the feeling that they're not trying to stand out in any particular manner. It could be that they're just shy, which makes sense. If you have their Sun conjunct Saturn, that could be somebody who's very, very shy. Another way to read this is letting me know that this person, you're more likely to meet them in a setting that is outside of, I guess, a normal setting. Like, let's say you were at a party, this person would be outside of the party, like on a patio, if this was a house party or something like that. It's like saying they're at the party, but they're not inside. So it's just like they're outside of the circle in a sense. So I don't know how else to explain that. Like, if you met them at work, then they wouldn't be working within your group. Maybe they're on another team, but on the same floor or something like that, or however your job is situated, or maybe they work in a different area of your workplace. So that's what it's saying. I don't know why that's important for you guys to know, but it is. When it comes to, I guess, the lifestyle that they like to live, as I said, this person's a very simple person. They are, I was gonna say they're open-minded, but like really when you have like this Saturnian Leo energy, they can be very stubborn and fixed in one certain place. So what this person likes, they like. They're like, if they're a person who likes going to, what's a popular chain? I'll just mention P.F. Chang's, whatever. If they're a person who likes going to P.F. Chang's, they're going to consistently go to P.F. Chang's. You would be the type of person who would have to drag them out of their normal environment and get them to try something new, because this person pretty much sticks to what they like. And not only that, like I said, they don't like going to a whole bunch of like expensive restaurants or, you know, museums or balls or galas. It's like they're like, no way, I don't want to be around the crowd. Now they'll do it if they have to for work and start networking and stuff, but they're not going to just openly do this on their own and making sure that, sorry guys, making sure the mic is on because that's happened to me before. But they're not going to do this on their own and just be super social person. That's not them at all. They have a habit of just trying to pull away from any sort of crowded events areas. And not only that, but I have a feeling that it's like they suppress their creative expression. Like they do their best not to like cause any buzz or stir or bring any attention to themselves. I don't know why that theme is coming up so much, but they do that. Like even if they see, like let's say they saw a dress or a suit or something that was like very extravagant, they wouldn't necessarily go buy that just because they kind of feel that that would draw attention to themselves, and maybe they're just a little shy and so they don't want a lot of people making comments on their appearance or something like that. So that's probably what's going on there, but I just don't know why that theme just keeps repeating over and over again, where they're just like, I don't want to stand out, okay? But for the most part, you have someone, when it comes to their money, they're, like I said, they're a person who's going to buy, if they spend a lot of money, it's going to be on like smaller, cheap things. Like those people who are like, okay, well, I don't make huge, big purchases, which is weird because I think this person, I think the majority of people who have picked this pile, this person prefers to just invest long term in like houses. I guess cars, not super long term, but yeah, cars, but like making big purchases. But for the second group, it's like if they're not doing that, then they're buying a lot of little small things that like little knickknacks and things they might find interesting. So they could spend a lot of money on little small things. So two different interpretations. But I think the majority of you is thinking long term, especially if we have Saturn return. Saturn return is the ultimate, like, hey, I got to reevaluate some stuff because this is not working for me. This is the area of life I really, really need to work on. And for them, it is expressing themselves and being creative. And I feel like they're a very awkward person to date. Because I'm reading this as being like Saturn and Leo. And Leo is like the 5th house of dating and romance. So this person is like a baby duckling when it comes to romance. They're going to be super interesting to get to know. I just feel like they don't have a lot of dating experience when it comes to that area, or just romantic experience in that area. So this person is not a person who's had like a lot of different partners and stuff like that, but for the most part, they are doing their best to try to put themselves out there by the time that they have met you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you guys would want to know. Obviously, if you're thinking about, does this person spend a lot of money on their wardrobe? No, they're not going to spend a lot of money on their wardrobe. They're going to be casual, t-shirt, jeans, basics, six to the maybe neutral colors. Not a lot going on there. In terms of like the car, they're going to drive a plain, simple car. Like it extends to every area of their life where they're doing their best not to be extra. But yeah, that's the main thing. There's nothing else that's really needed to be discussed. I mean, if you want to know if they're like sending money to family or something like that, I don't get the impression that they would do that. If you're wondering if they spend a good amount of money on you, I think they'll buy you, like they'll pay for like dinners and stuff, but this isn't a person who's like the last pile is like doing some crazy stuff. This is a person who's obviously, they're going to give you, gifts for your birthday and stuff, but they're not a person who their love language isn't like gift giving. So it's not going to come natural to them to just say, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of gifts and stuff like that and shower you with gifts. They're more likely to give you their time. And that's something that would be more important to them. Okay, so they would more likely just spend a lot of time with you. And if you needed them, like if you guys went to Starbucks, they would probably like pay for your coffee or something like that, if that's what you were looking for. But overall, they're not like the person who's like the ultimate, let me lavish you with this and that thing. honestly, and if you're reading this as like a sugar sort of like relationship, then this is somebody who, like I said, they're not going to spend a whole bunch of money. In fact, I would read this as more than likely they'll just buy it for you. Like if you, some sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships, instead of handing them like the check like every week, they'll just buy something for them. So whatever you wanted, they say, okay, I'll just pay it off. So if you're like, oh, I have this bill, they say, okay, I'll pay it. So I feel like that would be the case for them. They wouldn't just like hand the money, they would just buy it for you. Oh, you need a plane ticket? Here, I'll buy the ticket. Instead of just giving you the money. So that's what I have for you, pile number 5. Gosh, I'm really tired if I'm forgetting the numbers, but thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Please let me know if it resonates. If not, we'll just have to pick another pile or wait for another reading. And it was a pleasure to read for you guys. Au revoir.